Hello, welcome to the Long Island Weather Update. It's almost 10 o'clock on the 12th of January as we watching this storm bear down on us. You can see the clouds moving in now, and we'll actually take a larger look at this storm here in a moment. So let's go here. See, this is the storm here. Not quite as crazy as the last one, but you can still see the tropical feed of moisture all the way from the Pacific here. All you got to just follow it. Here on the satellite, here it is. That's what your Super El Nino is doing. The moisture is traveling all the way up across Mexico, from the Gulf of Mexico, all the way up the East Coast into this low pressure center right here. And Looking at the radar right now, you'll see that we have the rain that is over New Jersey right now. Still over New Jersey. It looked like it was going to move in a little earlier, but looks like I could have maybe stayed out a little bit later. But you can see here little snow upstate, mostly rain. Heavier snow up in the UP of Michigan. And you can see the showers and thunderstorms making their way all the way down the East Coast. They're scattered, and then they become more numerous as you head into North Carolina and Virginia, up into Pennsylvania. The storm doesn't look as bad as the last one. That's the good news. But we're still going to have to deal with more rain again, which is the last thing we need with all the flooding that's been going on in New Jersey and the coastal flooding that's been going on as well. Just showing you what the day was like today. We had a little bit of blue sky, but we had the cirrus really come in early, and then we had the cirrostratus veil come in later on during the day. And tonight we have those clouds over us right now. Kind of a stormy-looking sky out there. So let's go and look at the latest briefing from the National Weather Service on this strong storm system. We kind of went over it last night, but we'll go over it again. We have an upgrade to coastal flood warning for southwestern Connecticut Saturday morning. Rainfall amounts have been slightly increased. Widespread moderate river flooding threat has increased. Locally, major river flooding possible. We have the flood watch in effect for a lot of areas. Flood warnings, embedded thunderstorms here. Rainfall. Now they have up to from 1.5 to 2.5 to locally 3 inches possible. And rainfall rates of a half inch to up to a half inch an hour possible, and the embedded thunderstorms could bring a 1 inch rainfall amount per hour amount. So this is really bad for flash flooding. So we got the flash flooding watch. You can see, unfortunately, they seem to have Connecticut again, which was hit very hard the last time in the locally 3 possible. You can see they're talking about the river flooding here. We have a wind advisory, so they have not issued a high wind warning. A wind advisory instead of a high wind warning for the coast. And I think a high wind warning might be needed. We're going to look at all that. And we got the gale warning in effect for all the offshore waters, all this stuff going on. This will be the last one, and then we can finally quiet things down a little bit here. These ridiculous soaker type systems that we've been dealing with here. It's just one after another, after another, after another. It's absolutely ridiculous. This will be the last one. You can see all across the country, almost every state has some kind of advisory in it. You can see the winter weather out west. The lakes have blizzard warnings, wind chill advisories, freezing spray advisories all over the place. But I'm going to be focusing on how this is going to be affecting us. And you can see we still have flood warnings for those rivers in Jersey. They're still high. They're just starting to come down now. If we look at the rivers and lakes, you'll see here that we still have, let's see how many gauges in flood. 9 gauges still in flood. And you still see a purple here, still a purple. Passaic River, Little Falls, still at a major flood stage, and moderate flood stage on the Passaic and other areas like Singac and Pine Brook on the Whippany. So this is really concerning. Now we're going to get more rain on top of that. We also have Connecticut, also Housatonic River, also came down from a moderate flood stage, but now it's forecasted to go back up again with more rain. So looking at the current conditions outside right now, we're in the mid-40s, 46 at Islip. And you'll see much warmer conditions as you head off to the south and the east. We're already pushing 50 degrees in parts of Jersey. We got 50 degrees in McGuire Air Force Base. And you can see the wind starting to gust already. Some gusts up to 30 already. Nothing crazy, but still not what we need. for sure. So let's go look at our highs and lows for the day. Highs got into the upper 40s to near 50. It was a pretty warm day. Look at that, low 50s if you were in New Jersey, southern New Jersey, south of the Raritan. Lows probably didn't drop that much. Oh, West Hampton managed to get down to 25. Islip managed to get down to 28. So lows around the freezing mark. I guess they did manage to get there, and even below in the Pine Barrens there in New Jersey too. I see 20s as well. So let's go back to this, and we're going to look at our climate statistics for today. And Islip, you'll see Islip hit 49. That's 10 degrees above normal. The low of 29 was 4 degrees above normal, putting us 7 degrees above normal for the day. Central Park ran 11 degrees above normal for the day. And just for fun, let's look at Newark. They ran 9 degrees above normal for the day. So, yeah, just another ridiculously warm day. But we've got one more day where we're going to see a ridiculously warm high. And then behind this storm, things are going to change. So, let's take a look at the impact the storm is having across the country as far as power outages go. And we already have some power outages already starting. You see New York, Pennsylvania in yellow. Michigan getting hit very hard with power outages. It looks like some of these areas in Michigan getting hit with the power outages due to these winds. Wisconsin also. Southern parts of the state, not where the snow is occurring. Not where the snow is occurring. So if we go back and look at the stations, I'm curious what the winds further west, see what kind of wind gusts we have. And these are pretty remarkable inland. Look at this. 54-mile-an-hour wind gust at Dunkirk that's western New York, I believe. That is quite a high wind gust for that far inland. And so we've got to be, again, concerned about these winds, again, with this system, because we've got a pretty low center of pressure here. If we go toward the center of the storm here, let's see what the air pressure is, 29.03 inches. So it's very, very deep, creating that pressure gradient, creating that wind, and all kinds of problems for us. So now let's go and look at the models and look at our storm. Obviously, we're kind of in the nowcasting mode, but the storm is going to move into the Great Lakes. We have the rain overnight, and then that storm tracks east, and then this is when you start seeing that change, and that colder air starts coming in. I'm not going to go long range in this. I'm only talking about the weekend in this weather update, but we will start feeling the colder weather, especially as we get into Sunday. So let's take a closer look at our area, and we're going to go and look at the HRRR first here on the 0Z run. And has the rain moving in? It should be moving in at, say, 11 o'clock or so, and could be heavy at times. And then as we get toward later in the wee hours of the morning, probably 2, 3 in the morning, that's when we're going to get our torrential rain and thunderstorms that could come through. And it looks like they have them, pretty much affecting the whole area. And that kind of, we're not going to be done with the rain until about 7 or 8 o'clock for most of the Long Island, and maybe 8 and 9 o'clock the east end. And then finally we're going to be done with the rain after that. And then you have a drier day with the temperatures dropping, still gusty winds, could be a sprinkle. And then on Sunday, we have this other interesting feature. Let's see if HRRR is continuing to do this. We're going to have to watch for a snow squall and an Arctic front, perhaps sometime Sunday around noon, it looks like. So, yeah, look at that. That is our next, after that we're done with this storm, might have a nice little snow squall Sunday afternoon, perhaps Sunday around maybe noon. This could be really interesting to see. So we'll have to see. The HRRR has been continuing to hint on this. And we'll talk about that more tomorrow, but I'm mainly focused on this storm right now. So let's take a look at the total accumulated precip from this storm, and you can see, you got that 1.5, almost to 1.5 to 2 inches, generally speaking. Some isolated areas could be more than that. Looking at your dew points and wind flow here, you'll see the tropical air, that tropical connection come in here. Here you go. Here's those dew points rising. It's going to get muggy again way overnight. By late, you're going to get into that muggy air, from 2, 3 in the morning to maybe the 9 o'clock in the morning or so. And that's going to feed your moisture for your storms. And then the winds go to the west, and the dry air comes in. And then you'll notice this feature again. Here we go Sunday. We're not quite in, you can see it still remains very windy, but we're not quite in the cold air yet. It's going to wait until later Sunday, That's when the actual Arctic front moves through, and that's when we could see the snow squall, and you could see those dew points drop quite a bit as the air mass changes as we get behind that. Temperatures, obviously, the temperatures are just going to be going up tonight, probably into the 50s, maybe even 60 degrees. So I wouldn't even rule out a 60-degree reading on Saturday morning, perhaps. And then the temperatures drop as we get toward the afternoon to the 40s, and then Saturday night will drop into the 30s, but it doesn't get that cold yet. And then for Sunday, we rise up into the upper 30s to around 40, and then this Arctic front comes through. And then once that Arctic front comes through, we're going to see the temperatures drop rapidly in the afternoon below freezing, and then by nightfall, we're going to be in the 20s, and it's going to be quite a lot colder when that Arctic front moves through. That Arctic front is going to be very interesting to watch. So let's first get through this storm, and then we can look forward to the Arctic front on Friday, which definitely is a lot more fun than this. Because I would love a snow squall. So let's go to the. We've already looked at the wind profiles. We'll go ahead and look at the winds aloft again on this to look at our LLJ. Not quite as crazy as the last LLJ, and luckily it moves through fairly quickly, as you see there. So it's not quite as severe of an LLJ, so I'm not expecting the same kind of winds that we saw with the last one, hopefully. But it's still not good. It's still going to cause flooding. And it's still going to cause problems. Let's go to the NAM3, because we do have the NAM3 to look at as well. This is the NAM3 LLJ, and of course the NAM is a little more intense with that LLJ, but I want to actually look at the precipitation view here. So let's take a look at that. So here is the precipitation view and the radar, and you'll see again that heavy rain. Could be thunderstorms here embedded as we get toward, again, the wee hours of the morning. Could be thunder and lightning. And, maybe even the potential for a squall line here. It looks like it's showing a little something here toward the morning. But there's going to be some pretty heavy rain and thunderstorms possible with this. And then as we go during the day, we might have a sprinkle or two. And then moving into Sunday, let's see. The NAM also shows these snow squalls as well. Has them a little later in the afternoon. But this is going to be very, very interesting for Sunday. Very interesting to see. And I would love a snow squall, because that's when you get a real Arctic front, you always get a snow squall with it. But let's see what the NAM is putting out for rainfall, and it is also in that, you can see it's kind of upped it now. It says some areas over 2 inches, particularly Suffolk County and Connecticut, so we could see more of this. And of course, the rainfall on top of the tide coming in and the wind blowing in is just going to cause more flooding, which I'm sure South Shore 12 is all over. We'll also see the potential for flash flooding inland. We also have the rivers as well that we have to watch out for. So we have to watch out for all these different things, all right, that we could see from this storm. Let me go to the RGEM next. All right, this is the RGEM run. Not enough of the 0Z run here. I just want to see what the RGEM is doing for rainfall. Yeah, they all seem to agree on getting closer now to 2 inches, I think. As far as most of the short-range models go. I'll just briefly look at the clouds to show you, again, just to visualize what's going on in the atmosphere. So, obviously, clouds to start. Maybe a few breaks of sun in the afternoon. Tomorrow night, we're clear. And then Sunday, we're probably clear in the morning. And then that Arctic front comes through in the afternoon. And that's going to bring us a nice little snow squall right there with it. And as we go into Monday, we're going to probably have to watch for more cirrus rolling in. But I'm not going to talk about that Monday until we get to probably at least tomorrow night or maybe Sunday night, probably, because we got to focus on the storm that we got at hand right now. But let's go back to the NAM 12. All right, so this is the NAM 12, and you can see when that heavy rain moves in, there it is, really soaking right there. That's 8. That's probably like 3, 4 in the morning. The heavy torrential downpours affecting the area there, and that again could. Total rainfall from that, again, this is, you can see the same idea that it's leaning closer to 2 inches, and I think that 1.5 to 2.5 inch that the Weather Service is quoting is probably definitely a lot more in line with what we're seeing. So let's look at the FGen as well, because look at how dark that is. That is an incredible amount of omega or energy in the atmosphere that is being created here, and a lot of lift and a lot of precipitation that's going to occur. And then that rain comes down. It's going to come down very, very heavy, and there's going to be a lot of flash flooding with this rain, and the rivers, in New Jersey are going to get hit hard, but also on Long Island and areas that are inland that are going to flood pretty badly as well. Roads flooded, and yet South Shore 12 is just going to be talking about the South Shore. You know that, and I will call them out today. I'm calling them out again tomorrow. I'll call them out as long as they keep ignoring us in the middle of the island, because we're experiencing this disaster too. They seem to forget that. But you can see here that is an incredible amount I mean, it's rare to ever see it that intense. So that rain is going to come down very heavy when you see that. And that's not good at all. The other thing I want to pull up here, Storm Prediction Center. Let's just take a look at this for a minute here, because you can see they've got the marginal risk for severe weather all the way up into the mid-Atlantic. Let's take a look at tomorrow on the convective outlook here. They don't have anything. Well, I think we're going to see some thunderstorms. I mean, with this, that seems to be favorable for some thunderstorms. And I know last time we didn't get thunder and lightning, but this time we very well may get thunder and lightning with this. So let's look at a few other models here. I'm going to go to Vent2Sky, and we will go ahead and look at the wind gusts on the 8. This uses the HRRR for our wind gusts here, and see if anything has changed here. And let's see what we got here. You'll notice the winds has got a little more of an easterly component. Let's move this over to Saturday. You'll notice that it's got a little more of an easterly component. As we get toward after midnight, that's when you see those gusts going over 40. And here we are at 1 o'clock. You can see maybe near 50. I think we'll see gusts of probably around 50 miles an hour for most areas. I think that's still pretty bad. And along the coast, it could still be higher than that. It's just 3 o'clock. Still under the influence of that. And you can see it gets a little stronger as it moves east. And then you can see it's continuing to move east. And this could be a line right here forming. This could be a squall line or something here that's developing right here at 4 in the morning. Let's go look at the wind speed at aloft. Let's go to 250 above the ground. So this is why do I show this? Again, because if there's a thunderstorm, it could pull in some of these stronger winds aloft. All right, around midnight, it's not that bad. But as we get later in the evening, this is when it starts getting worse. 2 in the morning tonight, this is when you start seeing the winds above the surface getting pretty strong. Yeah, and you can see here, any thunderstorm could bring these stronger winds down to the surface. This is why I show this, because, again, I think that's a possibility. Let's go to thunderstorms now and take a look at Cape. And it's not really showing much Cape or anything, not really showing any Cape. Lifted index, not really showing too much, but there is some. There definitely is some there. There definitely is some. So you have that instability in the air, all right? And then you got to worry about, well, now we got all the waves also coming in. I use the windy to visualize that. I don't use this. So let's go to the windy right now and look at the windy. Oh, boy. All right. So this is the windy.com site, and this is the European model. And we'll get it. Once again, go ahead and look at these wind gusts as we head into tonight. So 1 a.m., we got winds gusting close to 50 miles an hour on Long Island. You notice in New Jersey that some areas they have it gusting over 50 miles an hour. So gusts over and look at what happens as we get toward 4 a.m. The Euro's been kind of hinting at this, that it's going to actually get more intense as it moves east over Suffolk County. 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. So a high wind warning may still be needed, especially for Suffolk County. And look at this, still lingering at 5 in the morning. You can see extreme 66-mile-an-hour wind gusts. If you have these kind of winds and the water, the flooding is going to be absolutely devastating for the Fire Island, communities. And I think they should have evacuated Fire Island the last time, and I think they really should evacuate Fire Island this time, because I could see a lot of people being stuck and needing water rescues if things get bad enough, and it could definitely happen that way. Definitely could be happening that way. This is scary to look at. This is the European, of course, but it's showing this area because there could be some severe thunderstorms in this area that bring these stronger winds down to the surface. Let's jump on over to the waves, because this is not a good picture either. 7 in the morning, we have waves over 10 feet already flooding into the area, 13 feet. Um, this is going to be pretty bad, and I still think we have the potential to see a number of power outages. I would say probably between 5,000 and 10,000 at least. If it's toward the higher end, we're going to see just as much as the last time. Hopefully not, but these seas look, they're going to be pretty bad. It's going to be very bad tomorrow with these seas. And you can see here, really not a good situation. We can go actually hit swells as well, which kind of gives us the overall swell in the ocean. Um, and yeah, that's bad. That's bad. That is bad. So this is what we have to worry about. This is what we're going to have to watch out for tomorrow. And again, Fire Island, the Barrier Islands, Fire Island in particular, is going to be devastated, perhaps even worse than the last time. And it upsets me. It really does. It is a beautiful place, and it really sucks to see this happen. And I should have gotten there more because who knows how much longer Fire Island's going to be around at the rate things are going. Anyway, let's go back to the winds here. And we're going to just look at the scarier model. Let's go to the NAM and see what the NAM has. So this is the NAM, 2 in the morning on the NAM. We know the NAM's a little worse with the winds, and of course it is. Off the South Shore, it's got winds over hurricane force. I don't think we'll see gusts that high. I think that's a little bit. But you'll see that it tends to get worse as it heads east. 65 mile an hour wind gusts, so... Again, we have a very, very deep low pressure system here. A very, very deep low pressure system. Really very, very deep. And that's the concern that we have. I mean, you have that pressure gradient, you have that LLJ. It's all coming together to, give us one more horrible atmospheric river disaster before things calm down and be a little more normal for winter. But this is unbelievable what we're seeing, and I think we're going to be seeing again terrible flooding. And like I said, I would not be staying on Fire Island if I were you. I hope that most of the people who live in these communities on Fire Island got the hell out of there because it's going to be really bad. And and of course the South Shore areas will have bad flooding as well. Though the flooding they get is mild in comparison. They're complaining mainly about water in the streets. There's going to be water in people's homes. People are going to be trapped. I'm really concerned about homes being washed away in Fire Island and along these barrier islands here. It's not going to be good at all. And I really hope those people just got out and went to higher ground, just left Fire Island because right now Fire Island would be the last place I'd want to be tonight with this storm coming in. So I think that's going to wrap it up from here. I think so. Obviously, I'll have updates for you throughout the storm. I'll try to have updates. Hopefully, I don't have any power outages, so I can keep you updated because this storm is still going to be bad, and it's on top of the other storm. The storm doesn't have to be as severe as the last one to cause a lot of damage because we're still dealing with high water from the last storm in a lot of areas, and this storm is gonna just build on that as far as I'm concerned, and this is going to be pretty bad. So. What can I say? So hopefully people got. So let's go over what's in effect once more. Again, we have a coastal flood warning. We have a wind advisory, which really should be upgraded to a high wind warning, I think, especially for Suffolk County. We have gale warnings. We have flood warnings still inland, and it looks like they're going to be lots and lots of flood warnings once this heavier rain moves in. We'll take one last look at the radar. You can see that rain is definitely starting to move in. And it's going to get quite heavy here, and it's going to be no thanks. I don't have time for a survey, but you can see storm warning is in effect. This is going to be pretty bad, folks. So get ready to get hit with another tropical atmospheric river, and I'll keep you updated on this storm. And let's pray it's not as bad as it could be. That's all I can say.